Hello all, welcome to the course on Python programming for beginners. We are in Module 3, Python data types, Lecture 3. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the list data type, tuple data type, set data type and Frozensets, dictionary data type and range function. Let us begin this lecture. The first one is the Python list data type. List is an ordered collection of items separated by commas and enclosed within square brackets. List elements can be heterogeneous type. That means list can have multiple data type elements. Lists in Python can be created by just placing the sequence of elements inside the square brackets. Lists are mutable, which means we can add or remove or modify the elements from the list. To access items from a list, we use the index ranging from 0 to n-1, where n is the number of elements in the list. Index 0 refers to the first element in the list. Index 1 refers to the second element. Index 2 refers to the third element of the list, and so on. Let us see an example of list data type. In this example, we are creating list 1, which is a list of integers. Languages is another list, which is a list of strings, which consists of the elements C, C++, Java and Python. List 2 is a heterogeneous list which consists of elements of different data types that may include strings, floating point data type and integers. We are printing all the lists by using the corresponding print statement and by passing the list as an argument. Here is another piece of code that shows how the elements of the list can be accessed. Here list 1 of 0, it returns the 0th element in the list 1, and languages of 1, it is going to return the element with index 1 from languages. List 2 of 2 is going to return the element with index 2 of list 2. All these three are using the positive indexing. List also supports negative indexing, where list 2 of -1 is returning the last element in the list. List 2 of -2 returns the last but one element in list 2. So the positive indexing traverses the list from left to right. On the other hand, negative indexing traverses the list from right to left. And here is the code for demonstrating how the list can be modified by using append and updating of the list. List 1 dot append of 7, it is going to add 7 at the end of the list. And list 2 of 3, because list 2 is already having an element with index 3, which is 30,000. So when we write list 2 of 3 equal to 35,000, so list 2 will be updated with the new value at position or at index 3. And then we are printing the modified list. Let us observe the execution of this code. We are in Google Colab now. So here we are creating the three lists. The first one, list 1 is a list of integers, languages, which is a list of strings. List 2 is having heterogeneous items, and we are printing the list. So we can observe that all the elements of each of these lists are enclosed within square brackets and they are separated by commas. Next, we'll see how to access the elements of the list both by using positive indexing as well as negative indexing. So the first three are using positive indexing and the next two statements are using negative indexing. So this is the output. List 1 of 0 is 3. Languages of 1 is C++. List 2 of 2 is M. List 2 of -1 is returning the last element of list 2, which is 5075. Then list 2 of -2 is returning the last but one element, which is 30,000 in this case. Then let us see the statements for modifying the list. List 1 dot append. We are appending 7 to the existing list 1, and we are modifying list 2 by assigning 35,000 at index 3. So here you can see the previously list 1 is having only 4 elements, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now it is being appended with the last element, which is 7. And the element at index 3 of list 2 is being modified as 35,000. Moving to the next data type, which is the Python tuple data type. Tuple is an ordered sequence of items which are same as list. Tuple is created by placing the sequence of items in open parentheses. List is created by using square brackets. On the other hand, tuple is created by using the open parentheses. Tuples are immutable. That means tuples once created cannot be modified. Tuple items in Python are also can be accessed by using indexing, similar to that of list. Let us see the Python tuple data type example, where we are creating a tuple called as squares with the elements 0, 1, 4, 9 up to 81, which are nothing but the squares of all the numbers from 0 to 9. And then squares of 3 is going to return the element at index 3 of squares, which is 9 in this case. And squares of 7 is going to return the element with index 7 from squares, which is 49. And tuples can have duplicate items also. That means you can include the elements which are duplicates in tuple. And you can see the element where we are trying to add tuple 1 equal to 20, which is an assignment statement. Here the element 20 is being assigned with tuple 1 of 1. That means we are trying to modify the tuple. So since tuples are immutable, this particular statement returns a type error. Let us see the execution. So this is the code that we just have seen. Squares, which is a tuple that is being created, printing squares of 3, then printing squares of 7, and then tuple 1 showing that the tuple can have duplicate elements. Then we are trying to modify the tuple, which we initially made it as a comment. So let us observe the output. So here you can see squares of 3 is 9, squares of 7 is 49, and we are printing tuple 1. Now let us remove this comment and observe the code again. In this case, it is throwing an error saying that tuple object does not support item assignment because tuples are immutable, they cannot be modified. The next data type is Python set data type. Set is an ordered collection of unique items and a set has no duplicate elements. Set is defined by values separated by commas inside curly braces. Since sets are unordered collections, elements cannot be accessed using index. We can convert a list into a set by using the set function. Either we can use the curly brackets for creating a set, or we can pass the list as an argument to the set function in order to convert the list into a set. There are functions add and delete, add and del functions, which are used for adding and deleting the elements from the set. We can perform operations on sets such as union by using the symbol, that is pipe symbol. We can perform intersection on the sets by using AND symbol, difference which is indicated with the symbol minus, and symmetric difference indicated with cap symbol. So these operations, union means it includes all the elements of the set A as well as set B in case if we are trying to perform the union operation between the two sets A and B. Similarly, intersection between A and B returns the common elements that are present both in set A as well as in set B. Difference, that is A minus B, is going to return the elements that are present in A but not present in B. Symmetric difference is going to return the elements that are present in A and not present in B, as well as the elements that are present in B and not present in A. So it is a union of A minus B and B minus A operations. That is why it is called as symmetric difference. Let us see the example for set data type. Here we are creating a set which is set 1 from a list by using the function set, and then we are creating another set, set 2, by using the curly brackets by inserting the elements in the curly brackets. Then we are trying to add an element to set 2, and then we are trying to remove an element 3 from set 2. Initially the set has 135, then after adding becomes 1357, and then after removing 3 the set consists of only 1, 3 and 5 and 7. So when we try to print set 2, it will be printing 1, 5 and 7, and the length of set 2 returns the length of that is the number of elements that are present in set 2. And this piece of code is demonstrating how different operations can be performed on sets. This is the union operation, pipe symbol, then AND operation which is intersection, and then the difference which is minus, and then we have the symmetric difference which is represented by the cap symbol. We are printing the result by using the corresponding print statements. Let us observe the execution of this code. Python set data type. This is the code where we have created set 1 and then we are printing the set. Here you can observe, though the list 1 is having the duplicate elements, when we convert it into a set, the duplicates are being removed. Next, here we are trying to add and remove the elements and then printing the resultant set and also the length of the set. The resultant set after adding 7 and removing 3 is 157, and the length of the set 2 is 3. The next data type is Frozenset. Frozenset is an immutable version of a Python set object. While elements of a set can be modified at any time, elements of the frozen set cannot be modified after creation. Frozen sets can be used as keys in dictionary, and frozen set function is used to convert any iterable like a list or a tuple to a frozen set. Here is the example for the Python frozen set. List 1 is being created initially and then it is converted into a frozen set by using the frozen set function. Then we are printing the frozen set which is f underscore set and also the type of f underscore set. As we have seen just now, the frozen set is immutable. That is why the statement that tries to add an element to the frozen set returns an attribute error. Let us observe the execution of this code and observe the output. So this is the execution of set operations. Set 1 union set 2, it is returning all the elements that are present both in set 1 as well as set 2. And intersection it is going to return the elements that are present both in set 1 as well as in set 2. Set 1 minus set 2 is going to return the values that are present in set 1 but not present in set 2. Similarly, set 1 symmetric difference set 2 is going to return the elements that are present in set 1 but not present in set 2, as well as the elements that are present in set 2 and not present in set 1. So here, if you observe, 8 is present in set 2 but not present in set 1. That is why set 1 symmetric difference set 2 is displaying all the elements 1, 3, 5 and 8. Coming to the Frozenset example, so trying to modify the Frozenset throws an error. So let us put this in a comment. And execute the code. So here you can see the Frozenset is having 1, 2, 3, 4 as the elements. You can observe the set which is enclosed in again open parenthesis. That is how the Frozenset is being represented. Then when you try to print the type of Frozenset, it is displaying it as Frozenset class. And when you try to modify the Frozenset by removing the comment, we will execute and see it is returning an error saying that Frozenset object has no attribute add. The next Python data type is the dictionary data type. The Python dictionary is an ordered collection of items and it stores elements in key value pairs, and key is a unique identifier that is associated with a value. And the syntax for dictionary creation is we should surround the key value pairs in curly brackets, and the key value pairs have to be separated by comma, and we have to use a colon to separate each key from its value. And in order to access or retrieve the elements from the dictionary, we have to use the dictionary keys. And this is the syntax for accessing the elements of the dictionary. Dictionary name followed by the square brackets, and within the square brackets we have to give the key. If the key is a numeric value, no need to mention it in double quotes. On the other hand, the key is a string value, we have to enclose the string in double quotes. Dictionary is mutable, that means we can add or remove or modify the elements of the dictionary. Let us see the example where we are creating two dictionaries. Dict1 is having the keys ID, name, age and branch with the corresponding values as 101 Rahul for name, 23 for age and AI and data science for branch. Similarly, we are creating another dictionary Dict2 where we have the keys 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the corresponding values are the names of the dry fruits, 1 for badam and 2 for cashew, 3 is the key for the value pista, and with the key 4 we have walnut as the value. And if we try to print the type of Dict1 and type of Dict2, it is going to print it as Dict class, because the dictionary data type is being implemented by using the class dict. And then we are printing both the dictionaries, and we are trying to access the elements of the dictionary by using the index as the key. So we have to pass the key as the index to dict1. So dict1 of name, it returns whatever is the value that is there for the key name. So here it is Rahul. And again dict2 of 2, it is going to return the value of the element that is having the key value as 2, that is cashew. Let us execute this code and observe the output. So this is the code where we are creating the two dictionaries, dict1 and dict2. Then we are printing the type of dict1 and dict2, then printing the dictionaries themselves. Then we are accessing the elements of dict1 by using the key name, and then dict2 by using the key 2. So the type of both dict1 and dict2 is being printed as the dict class, and here we are seeing the dictionaries that are being printed. Then dict1 of name is Rahul because this is the value associated with the key name. Similarly, cashew is the value that is associated with the key 2 of dict2. So next we have the Python range function, and this function returns a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default and increments by 1 by default and stops before a specified number. And the syntax for the range function is range takes 3 arguments, start, stop and step. The range function can take a maximum of 3 arguments. Why? Because the arguments start and step are optional. If nothing is given, the default value of start is 0 and the default value of step is 1. Here are the examples. Range of 10 means it is going to generate a sequence of numbers starting from 0 up to 9 in steps of 1. Similarly, range of 5, 10, it is going to generate a sequence of numbers starting from 5 up to 9 in steps of 1. Similarly, range of 0 to 10, 2, it is going to generate a sequence of numbers from 0 to 9 in steps of 2. So here is the output of the corresponding print statements, and observe here range is generating a sequence of numbers. Unless you print it as, unless you convert it as a list, you will not be able to see the output. So in order to print what are the elements that are part of each of these ranges, we have to convert them into corresponding list. So the first print statement you can observe, since no value for start is given, the default start is 0 and the default step is 1. That is why it is printing all the numbers from 0 to 9 in steps of 1. Similarly, range of 5, 10, it is printing the numbers from 5 to 9 in steps of 1. And then range of 0, 10, 2, it is printing the numbers ranging from 0 to 9 in steps of 2. That is why we got 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. Let us observe the execution of this range function. The same code that we just discussed is being typed here. So here you can see the different ranges that are converted into list and printed. And then the last print statement is printing the type of range, which is returning as the range class. So the range function returns a range class. So in order to see the output, we have to convert that into a list. So here is the summary of this lecture. List is an ordered collection of mutable elements, and the elements in the list are ordered. That is why we can index the elements for accessing the elements, and lists are mutable, which means the elements of the list can be modified. Next one is tuples, which is an ordered collection of elements which are immutable. That means we cannot modify the elements of a tuple, and the elements of the tuple can be indexed. The third data type is sets, which are unordered set of elements. Sets are mutable. That means we can modify the sets and there won't be any duplicates in sets. Since they are not ordered, we cannot index the elements of the sets. The next one is Frozensets, which are similar to sets, having all the features of sets, but the only difference is Frozensets are immutable. That means we cannot modify the Frozensets once they are created. The next data type is dictionary, which are a key value pairs, and the dictionary elements are not indexed, and we can access the elements of a dictionary by using the corresponding key. Finally, we have discussed about the range function, which takes three arguments: start, stop, and step, out of which start and step are optional arguments, and this range function returns a sequence of numbers. With this, we came to the end of this lecture. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again in the next class.